Good morning, everybody. Give me just a second here, and I'll find what I was going to share. Go. That should look right. All right, with that, it is straight up on the hour. So let's see. I think I've got everybody in as of right now. So we'll keep an eye out, and if we miss anybody, we'll stop and get them in. So shuffling things around here just a little bit. All right. Not sure where that came from. Get rid of that. Back over here. There we go. That's where we're supposed to be. Just like it's supposed to go. All right. There's Joy. All right. I'm going to mute everyone's microphone. There we go. All right. I'm assuming everybody can see me, hear me, all the things that we're supposed to be able to do there. That was good. Thank you, Dawn. All right. This morning, I'm going to take an interesting journey this morning, but we're obviously going to continue to focus on helping businesses to grow with creative solutions. That's what we do in this webinar. That's what it's dedicated to. But before we do that, I want to share with you, I got a note yesterday from Olga and Helga both thanking us for our time. So I'm just going to share the notes with you. Thank you for organizing such an amazing, I don't know which one said which, but thank you for organizing such an amazing webinar on ElfSight and how its widgets can be used to solve real business problems. It was a pleasure to join. Many thanks for the great opportunity to learn how to host such a cool webinar. This was interesting because neither of the ladies who were on with us, Olga or Helgi, either one, had ever done a webinar. They have no idea what to do if you're doing a webinar. So that was an interesting go round. And they were both saying, we're just going to watch and see what you do so we'll know what to do, because I tried to get them to participate a little bit more. And they said, no, we need to learn how to do this. So that was pretty cool. And then the other comment was, thank you so much for the warm words. The pleasure was ours to join you in your lovely space to talk about ElfSight a bit. Webinar was top notch. The time just flew by. Eric, you obviously know your stuff. I'm happy if we could spice things up a little bit. And so many thanks for inviting us one more time. So I thought it was really cool to have them on, and I wanted to share their, because y'all make that thing a reality. You make it possible. You make it easy for me to do webinars. You always have. And so So I really appreciate your response and the way that you allow the webinars to flow and to go and that kind of a thing. And so works out really well for everybody who's in attendance, obviously with two people who were guests who would come in just to join for that purpose. And so I just wanted to share that with you just a little bit. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is going to be a little crazy, okay? And I'm going to quote a line from a song, and I'm going to tell you how come this is important and why this has something to do with anything. And Don's always big on the music, and it's one of the things that we have greatly in common. And with the passing of Gordon Latfoot on Tuesday, I have had music stuck in my head, in the forefront of my head forever. And so I want to share this line from this song to you this morning, and then you'll see why. It's this line here from a song by Rascal Flatts. It's a country song. I'm not a big country music fan, but I do like good music, and I don't care what it is. It could be played on a bucket if it was good. But the line says this: "God bless the broken road that led me straight to you." Well, that's a contradiction in terms, and I love lyrics that are a contradiction in terms. It's a broken road that led straight to you. So I'm going to share with you a broken road that led straight to today's topic. All right. A week ago, just a little over a week ago, I had a meeting with an author that I was working with, and I said, where do you currently have all of your stuff? And she said, all of my stuff is on a platform called Clickup. And she said, have you ever used Clickup? And I said, no, we use this and this. And she said, and I use Evernote, and I use Trello, and I use this and I use that. And she said, if you ever use Clickup, you wouldn't use any of the rest of those. I thought she just threw the gauntlet down. And that was a challenge to me. And I said, well, it's going to be hard for me to move from anything that I'm currently doing. And she said, until you try this. Now, that's an interesting challenge. So what I did was, not immediately, because that would have been acquiescing to her challenge. So I had to put it off for a few days. So on Friday afternoon, I said, okay, I'm going to check this thing out. And I did. And I kind of liked it, because the first thing that popped up said, would you like to import your Trello cards? Well, I got tons of work that we've got in Trello. I mean, hundreds of cards inside of Trello that I have rows in various stages of completing those tasks and various other things. And I was able to import all of the Trello cards and be done with it in less than 10 minutes. And I thought, okay, that's a good step in the right direction. So I start playing with this for just a little bit. The next day, my business partner on another project called me and said, what do we have where we can keep track of the project from beginning to end and share certain cards with certain people and do this and to do that? And I said, just so happens I just did this last night, and let me jump on a Zoom call and I'll walk you through this. And he said, that's exactly what we need. So let's proceed in that direction. So Ryan and I are working on a project with a lady named Helen. It was the project we used last week, and with Olga and Helga, and it was the Shop Didsbury site. And she had asked me for some content that she could share on her social media platforms. And what I did instead was I dropped all of that content, which there was about 22,000 words in various sized documents, dropped all that content into a ClickUp card and shared with her the ClickUp card. Now she can keep track of what she's posted and what she hasn't, and she can walk herself through that process, and she absolutely loved it. So I took that very broken road that led me right straight to where we are today, because none of that's all connected except for this woman threw this challenge down at me. And this is the process that goes through my head. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? Y'all understand why I used that line from that song? Okay, so this is what I get asked almost every day. How do you get so many things done? I get asked that question all the time. How do you get so many things done? And I don't always get so many things done. I'm disappointed in the amount of things I get done. But when I opened up the ClickUp and I showed it to my business partner, he said, "When did you start that?" And I said, about 2 hours into last night. And he said, "You have that much done already?" It's a productivity tool, okay? If your productivity tool takes too much of your time, it's not really a productivity tool, is it? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Next question I get asked frequently is, what does a day in your life look like? Because you change gears a lot. You change topics a lot. What does a normal day look like? And the answer to that question is always the same. I have no idea. I would have to keep track and find out. The third question I get asked a lot is, how do you keep track of all the things that you do? Well, we've used multiple things. I have 5,000 notes in Evernote. They're not as organized as I would like for them to be. They're in 79 notebooks and 5,000 notes, and it's a little bit hard to search it and find it. I can do it and it works, but it's not easy to keep track of all that stuff. So this is the questions I ask myself all of the time. It has to do with productivity. What can I do to get more organized? Because obviously organization is a missing component from everybody's life, right? Would y'all agree with that? Yeah, we all lack that. So I ask myself that all the time. What can I do to get more organized? That's always a pressing need, and I want to be able to get organized without taking too much of my time. If I spend an hour to organize a 15-minute task, then I have shot myself in the foot. And I've seen some planners that do that, and it's like, this is insane. Number two, what can I delegate for even greater speed? It's really hard to delegate things if you don't have them well organized. Organization and having a system in place makes it easy for you to delegate that to somebody else, which, by the way, Rose has done an amazing job of putting together the pieces that we needed to get done a whole bunch of stuff. And the whole bunch of stuff has been pretty cool. And she started on the Trello card. She absolutely loves ClickUp. The third thing is the time to change to be more efficient worth the cost? And I have to ask myself that a lot, because I have 12 years of stuff in Evernote. 12 years. That's a lot of stuff to move someplace and reorganize. That's a lot of stuff to sort through and to sift through. Is it going to be worth the effort? And if I do that, is it going to pay off? Am I going to get the return on investment that I need in order to justify doing it? So you have, whenever you talk about productivity, you have to keep those last three questions in mind. Now, it looks like from the first three that I shouldn't have any problem with productivity, but when I look at my own life, I know that those three questions need to get better. I need to more refine those three things, right? I think all of us fit in that category where we could be better organized. We could get more done by handing off some tasks to other people and be able to make the move to make it smooth and make it work. And then finally, the time it takes to change, because I've gotten slammed with three things at the same time here, and things that I didn't have any control over, and I had to take control of. And that's a huge time factor in the middle of everything. So those are things that, so today I'm going to talk to you about productivity tool, because productivity is being able to do things that you were never able to do before. I always look for an amazing quote, and I really like that quote. Productivity allows me to do things that I was not able to do before. And you go back and look at the questions, then I can get more things done. I can have a better rhyme and reason to my day. I can keep track of the things that I need if I become more productive in the things that I do. Okay. So with the proper productivity tools, you will get more with less of your time. You'll do better with your time. You'll earn more with your time. You'll have an easier time. That's a really good one, isn't it? I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm at the point in my life where easy sounds really like a great path to take. It just does. Some of you are younger than me, a lot younger than me, but and then finally you'll be happier. You'll be happier at work. Now, I'll give you a little secret. Years ago, when I was in the employee benefits business, I would share with employers that happy employees are 55% more productive at work. If you can get 55% more production out of your employees just by making them happy, imagine how much more time you could put back in your day if you had a way to be happier at work. And I'll show you something that just thrills my heart in just a minute, okay? And then the next one, you'll be more motivated. And then finally, you'll collaborate better with others. So today we're going to take some time. We're going to focus on some productivity tools that have been put in place that I think you'll find very, very helpful. And this is the tool that I was challenged to say. She said, if you check this out, I promise you won't ever want to use anything else, because it has everything that you ever needed in one spot. And this is pretty amazing, actually. I looked at this and I went, well, that's just kind of like a Trello card on steroids. But let me show you, okay? So let's go over and take a look at ClickUp. And I've got a demo space right here. And you can do it in a list format, or you can do it in a board format. I like the board format because I've got this set up right now for content creation. And I always like to add this little brainstorm area. So I just started building this out so you could see what we were talking about here, okay? And then I put in here the webinar material on productivity. I can click this, and then I have this document right here, and I've got the document here. I want to show you something that you can do in this platform I've never seen done before, and that is it has an AI tool that allows you to summarize the entire document. So I click this, and it summarizes the document. I insert that at the beginning. This is all a person needs to read to find out whether this is the right document or not, correct? How cool was that? I just really like this. So let's just take the first 3 words and we'll make them become the title right there. And then we've got this little summary and so on. Okay. I think that's really cool. That by itself is really cool. Now, obviously, I've got Jasper follow me around inside of here and other things. I can use an icon to identify that. Use my favorite little icon right here. All right. That's just a way to make it look cool, right? So now here on my description, I can use the AI tool on my description. I can write with that. Look at all of the capabilities I can choose here, okay? So if the client that I'm working for, if what I'm working on here, if I need to write a better description of that, I can click on Write AI. I can put the talking points in here. I can't spell when I'm on a Zoom call, and you know that. We'll just do this for, no, we'll make that for content creators. Which I have an update on the content creator course as well. And then I can select a tone of voice. And in this case, we're going to make this very optimistic, okay? And I'll generate. And it spits out this little description right here, productivity tools. I can insert that in this section right here, but this is where it gets really cool. I can create a new document here, and I can also generate it with AI. So I can write in here, Everybody with me so far? These are pretty normal and pretty generic, but they're pretty good. Okay. It's not a bad place to start. I'm going to have to move my slide up just a little bit so I can insert that. And I can try it again. I like this list better than I did the last list. So we'll just add that, summarize it, insert the summary block, grab that and make that the title. Is that helpful? And now I have this permanently plugged in right here. What do you think so far? So let's do this. See, this tells me what step in the process I'm in. All right. I can move it to the approval. I can remove it to a rejected file. I can remove it. I can move it to a published file. I can close it. I'm not going to close it. I'm going to take it back to open. There, we just leave it there. All right. So now it's added it to this list right here. Let's go up here and I'll show you what I've got. I got Rose doing for me. Okay. We took part of this and moved it over. This is the content. Rose created this entire, took my notes and created this entire document right here. This entire course that will be plugged in next week. And you can open up your files without leaving. Pretty cool, right? All right. Oh, covered that up. Can't close it. Let me do this. This is where she put all of the material that I put into the content creator course, just for the content creator portion of the course. There's 9 other course material in there, but you can see how she divided all these up to make them easy for me to open up. Does that help with organization? Really makes a difference from an organizational standpoint. Now I have down here, I'm just going to open up one of these accounts. This is the Shop Disbury. This is the one we were talking about earlier. And this is the stuff that's open. So these are the things I sent to Helen. Here are the links that she needs in order to share them with her community. This is the content that she can use right here to share with the community. She can open up any one of these. She's got a summary right here to tell her exactly what is included in this. I've given her 3 press release ideas. I've given her some sample blog posts. How cool is that? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I think is so cool about this. Okay. Earlier, Don mentioned SOPs, so you'll notice they're on my list here. Okay. I have a list of SOPs on my list. Let's go down here and then I can create, like, this is my initial contact. I have a call with a website audit client right after this webinar. And so I've started listing the things I need to have ready for that client information, the goals, the website information, all the stuff I need to get ready for that call. I've got it all in one spot. As I'm making the call, I've got a place where I can take notes. Now I'll have that forever. Does that make sense? I won't have to try to figure out what happened in that first call. It'll be right there. And I can open up the document, run it from here. Now, I just listened to ClickUp's version 3.0 launch party, which, by the way, if you go to clickup.com, you'll find their version 3.0 launch. They're in the process of trickling that launch out right now. I've been on the list for a little bit. You can even do a Zoom call from inside the program, Don. Like, check this out right here. Right there. I have it set up to do a Zoom call. So I can start a Zoom call from inside of here. See there? I thought that was really cool. Now, they're going to expand that with their version 3.0, and I'm on the waiting list now for the 3.0. But you can calendar it, put a due date on it. You can actually estimate how much time it's going to take, and then you can keep track of the time to make sure that it took the right amount of time. This is a great productivity tool. I want to know, remember my question was, what does your day look like? Now I can do this and I can tell you what my day looks like. Make sense? I'll have a better idea what my day looks like because I've got a way to keep track of the amount of time it's spent on various tasks. Checklist, again, this is another Trello thing. It's your standard typical Trello connection, but I think it's great. You can assign this to multiple people. You can build a team of people from this. Any questions? This is what I think is going to be kind of fun. I can take this right here, and now I'm going to have to write an email to follow up, right? So I'm going to put in my first follow-up email. And I put on here what to include. Include 21-point checklist. Let me eliminate the and there so I won't confuse the AI. And page speed. That's not what I want, because what it did was it wrote a 21-point checklist for me. I have a 21-point checklist. It's completely different than this. So I would want to change that. But do you understand what I'm saying? I'll go back and edit the inputs. We'll just call it the content audit checklist. That way we should eliminate the trying to create 21 points. And we'll change this. And the page load speed. There you go. Now I can use that, right? As a client, will that help? I didn't have to write it. Does that help? How much of it would I change if I wrote it myself? A little bit, but not very much. What do I need to plug in? I need to plug in their current score. I need to give them the results of their 21-point checklist. Not too much needs to be done differently. So I'll just insert that. And now I have the follow-up email. Save time. Is that beneficial? Yeah, this is like the cost on this is like $9 a month. That includes the AI features and everything else, everything that you see me doing right here, for like $9 bucks. So I didn't even bother with an affiliate link. I mean, I might have one in the future, but I don't even have an affiliate link for it now. I just want you to all be productive, and so if this helps, that's great. Okay. I can move the task from one board to another. I can move it from one space to another. I can set up who's got capabilities to see it. The only thing I ask is that if you buy it, that you let me know that you did, just so I'll know. That's all. All right, couple of other things. All right, does that make sense? Do you see why I wanted to talk about a productivity tool? Joy's asked me if I think I'll ever go back to Trello. Once I imported the Trello cards here and saw how much easier it was to do the work inside of here than it was to do it inside of Trello, I doubt seriously if I'll ever go back. I had maxed out my Trello account. I was going to have to move to a paid account. It was going to cost me more money to move my Trello account to a paid account than it did to move everything to ClickUp. So I don't think I'll ever go back. Because I see the amount of money and the amount of effort that's being put into this platform, and it's ridiculously cool. They've added, for version 3.0, they've added over 100 new engineers to their staff. So does it help to see a productivity tool like this? Does this help you? That's the reason why I do it, is I want you to see the things I think can be helpful to you. I'm not really the kind of guy who just pitches product, but I think sometimes products can become solutions to things if you have all the other pieces in place. Yes, you can, Therese. You can write estimates and invoices. I've got my billing set up over here. I'm not going to show it to you, obviously, but I've got my billing set up here under, I think it's under my agency. Yeah, got my billing set up right here. So the answer to that question is yes. And this, actually, you can use this as a CRM and not have to have a CRM. I'll just show you quickly what the CRM looks like. So I've got leads, deals, accounts, and contacts. That's your typical CRM layout. I can change the view of that, put it across the board here: new leads, open, prospect, attempt to engage, need approval, blah, blah, blah. This is good stuff. The reason why I like this is because this is so easy to move. I can move this around. Okay. And so I can move it from one section to the other. I can minimize these so they're not in the way, so I can see more of them at the same time. So as this grows out, you have lots of places where you can go with this. I actually, one of the things that we do in a website audit, those are actually headings from a template, Joy. And when you click on, let's see here. If I create a new list, then I can also add a template to that. And here, I should be able to add the template right here. And so you can decide what kind of a template this is going to be. Like this one is content. That's what I was talking about earlier. Add content. So I had used the content. You've got a variety of things you can show on here. Okay, like the embed right here. I took my Figma. Where is it? Somewhere here I have my Figma imprinted here. Remember when we did Figma? I'm not going to do it because it takes a little while to load it up. But if I need this Figma image, this image right here to keep us on track, then I can actually embed the Figma image at the opening of one of the cards, or put it up here. And you do that by doing the embed on the right here. So you get the Figma option right here. And yes, you can attach documents and contracts and all kinds of other stuff. We're a SEMrush agency, and so we get SEMrush reports every day on clients' websites, and I can drop those reports from SEMrush in for each and every various client. You put your calendar in here. See there? And then I just select them from up here at the top, add them to the views, whatever. And each one of the templates have a getting started guide that goes basically like this, so you can see. The interesting thing is that now ClickUp, kind of an answer to your question, Therese has asked, can you use automation to get items placed in as they come? I have set up my automations from JotForm so that we get the JotForm information gets posted as a task inside of ClickUp. So that's all automated. And you can attach Google Sheets and all that other stuff too, as well. The search function, that is the coolest thing about Evernote, is the ability to search. I will tell you this has a search space right here to filter this out. So let's go, because I know I've used that title. All right. And we'll find out. So let's see. I don't see that. I just listened. I'm probably searching in the wrong spot, Joy. Would be my most likely guess that I'm searching in the wrong spot. But they did say that they're enhancing their search capabilities tremendously. So let's go back to the dashboard. Oh, there we go. Spaces. That's what I was looking for. List, docs, and folders should show up. A folder should show up. I don't know. I'm not happy with that search capability, but I have not played with it at all. You've asked me to do it for the first time, so that's as much as I know at this point. I do have the ability to pull all the docs right here, which is kind of cool. All of the docs, it literally gives me a list of all of the documents that I've posted. And I can filter those. I can do it this way. See, what comes up here is the sample blog posts. I can do social media. And there's a social media post. So I do have the ability to pull out all of the docs and and view them by themselves. And it tells me exactly where they're located. So I do have the ability to search the documents. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. I know when I looked at my Evernote and said, if I'm going to drop all my Evernote stuff over here, which I've been on a paid account forever because I have so much stuff in it, I knew that it was going to be something we're going to have some, and I think they're getting really close to releasing version 3.0. Just so you know. All right, in the time that we have left, I want to share with you a couple of brand new things and how this can be helpful, okay? Jasper has added a capability as well. Let me go over here to a different account. Jasper's added a couple of things. One is the brand voice. If you are on whatever's below boss mode, then you get one brand voice. If you're at boss mode, you get 3 brand voices. Let me show you what this means. When I select brand voice, and I've reached my max right here, but I took a block of content. In fact, I took the article. Some of you will remember this article, Don't Be a Goose. I took the Don't Be a Goose article and from Medium, and I just put the Medium URL in here and put my name, and my name was Eric Mulford, author. And I put the Medium URL in here, and this is the response that came back. Emulate this brand voice by crafting warm, friendly conversational anecdotes with a touch of humor and nostalgia, focusing on practical wisdom and life lessons while engaging readers through direct address, repetition, and metaphors. That's exactly the way I wrote Don't Be a Goose, right? So if I want to write additional things in that same voice, I now have it. I know exactly what it is. Now, can I take this and do something else with it? Absolutely. So I can grab this right here now, and I can go to Chat GPT, and I can put in here, writing in a warm, friendly conversational anecdotes with a touch of humor. Do you see the difference in this? Because I put in the warm, friendly conversational anecdotes. What's the first thing that you noticed? And by the way, this is the first time I did this, just so you know. What's the first thing you notice? I only had to read about 3 sentences, and then I caught it. He used a friend, lived Freddie, the friendliest frog you ever did meet. That's a warm, friendly voice, but I would never write like that if I was writing professionally, right? But is that consistent with this? So I took a piece of content that was on how to write a content brief, and I dropped it in and used it as a trainer, because that's what I do when I was writing about the content brief. That makes sense? So I matched the brand voice to the content that I was looking for. And what I got back instead was the style guide emphasizes a professional, informative, and instructional tone with clear and concise language, focusing on practical advice, targeted keywords, engaging structure, effective calls to action, and adheres to editorial guidelines for consistent, high quality content. Does that sound like the way I write normally in the professional mode with y'all? It's not quite as casual as I am, but it's really pretty close. So here's where it becomes really cool, okay? So when I open up chat, you're gonna learn something interesting here. When I open up chat, remember this conversation right here? And here it is. That got to be kind of a long story, okay? Remember this, okay? Let's go back over here. I'm trying to help you to see how to do this. So Jasper's added this enhanced prompt. And what I did up here was I wanted it to write an email for me requesting backlinks. All right. Now I'm going to apply my brand voice to that. And we'll do this one right here. No, we'll do this one right here. Now, when I do this, I've also got this right here because it took I dropped another bunch of text in. I was looking for the kind of tone, and I want this to be as a problem solver instead. And so we'll apply that to the chat. I notice this, it's applied my trainer voice, and this little enhanced prompt right here, I promise you, if you purchase Jasper and you play with this for a little bit, you'll become a prompt engineer, the likes of which is amazing. Because watch what happens to the prompt. Do you see that? I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy that. I'm also going to send this out. Then I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Using the same language that I just used, I'm going to copy that right here. Let's go back over to Jasper, and here's my email. That's a pretty decent email, right? Remember, we're requesting a backlink from another company. We've done exactly the same thing with ChatGPT. And here's what we got. Some more detailed email than I had before. This is a decent email. Well, let's do this just for fun. Let's go back to the spaces, and we'll go down the demonstration space, and we'll go to content creation. And let me create a task here so you can get through the task of this. And this is going to be everybody with me? Open up that card. And down here, I'm going to create a new document. And I've got that prompt now, right? I've saved the prompt to my clipboard. So I'm going to drop the prompt in there, and I'm going to use a different voice and be very straightforward in this email. What do you think? I think of the three responses, honest, I like this one the best. So what do you think? Do you see the value of expanding that prompt beyond just write an email? I'll show you a little secret in that write an email. Okay, let's have it tried again, just for fun. I'll insert that, but let me show you something here. I'm going to just open up the space here so I can see, so I've got something I can work with. So you can see this. This is the prompt itself. Do you see this first phrase right here? Act as a marketing manager. That's very, very important in writing your prompts. Very important. If I just say write an email, then it's writing an email. But if I put the role that I want the AI to take when it writes the email, that's so much more important. I like the way you said that, Don. It turns crap into gold. Now, when you compare this to what I wrote originally, my original piece was, and I don't have it anymore because it went away because they enhanced it, right? Okay, so I don't know. But my original one was, make sure that you mention the mutual benefit to both companies, blah, blah, blah. But the more information that you can give AI, the better it is. So I can write as a marketer, I can write as a website owner, I can write as a business owner. I can act as is really important, okay? One of the ones I use a lot is act as a publishing agent. And then I put in whatever it is that I'm looking for. Now, when I enhance that, look at what happens. There we go. Act as a publishing agent, write a compelling review of the little gold book. Now we'll let it do that, see what it does. There you go. So here's the question. What's our new tool going to do with that? Let's try it. So we'll come over here, do this. Now I've got my enhanced prompt. There you go. Basically the same thing that we got before. All right. Does all that make sense to you? Because you're going to have all kinds of AI tools going forward that are going to be embedded in everything. And it's important, that prompt is so important. The missing piece of the puzzle is always, how do I tell that prompt so I get exactly the response and the results that I want? And telling the AI engine what you want them to act like is really important. Act like a buyer. And there are tons of them being released all the time. The reason why I show you the Jasper one is because I love this little enhanced prompt piece right here. This is so cool. They've added another feature, and that's right here, the dynamic template. And this is give me product that will give me all social media content for advertising. And I just fill in the blanks here, and it produces some pretty amazing stuff. We'll give it a product name. We'll call it Social Buzz. The product type, I'm not going to get lost in that, but this dynamic template is really cool. And so, again, it's going to create it's going to engineer the prompt, go out to Chat GPT, pull the content back in, and it'll be there for you. Okay. All right. Any questions about any of that? That's a lot of stuff to go through in a short period of time. but I really wanted you to see the tool ClickUp, because I thought that would be valuable for you from a productivity standpoint. And it's really important to have those things in a place where you can keep track of it. And just being able to do this is pretty huge. I don't have this in most of the things that I have. I can't even get this in Evernote, even though I have thousands of notes in Evernote. I can sort these and so on and filter them. All right. Okay, any questions at all? If you're looking for a productivity tool, I think the best one that you can find on the market's ClickUp, and I think it's only going to get better. I'd highly encourage you to go watch the video. It's 47 minutes long about version 3.0, because I think it's going to be really cool. The enhanced search features is something I'm looking for. The dashboard apparently is going to get much, much better. And so those are two things that they focused a lot of attention on. And I just think it will get better. These other things that are happening in the world of AI, Designer now has an AI course, or now has an AI builder. And if you have the premium version, then you've got this right here. And I can go down here. Let me go to the bottom of this document. Down here. And I like the way this one works. Check this out. So I can literally write inside of the editor, the draft editor. I can write inside the other editor as well. I can write inside the draft editor and drop my Word Genie prompt anywhere I want it. What do you think? Would that be a nice little addition to add to a piece of content? Sure it would. But that was a pretty cool way to do that. They built that into the platform. Now that just came out this week, actually yesterday. So on the premium version, the pro version's got one inside of the editor. I agree, Don. You have to get on board with what's happening with AI, regardless. And this is an entire book that I wrote using AI. And then down here, I've done this one as well. I love this book right here. Outsmarting Your Rivals, Competitive Analysis for CBD in the E-commerce World. And I don't know how big it is. It's probably, I don't know, 42,000 words, something like that. It's a pretty amazing book. Took me an hour to edit it and make it right. All right, any questions before I shut off, shut down, shut up, or something? I will say to those of you who've purchased the content creator course, number one, thank you. Number two, I'm going to include ClickUp as a productivity tool. So I'm going to create the videos for that this afternoon so that we can take a look at that from an enhancement standpoint of being able to create content and schedule it, because you do have calendar capabilities inside of this. And I've got one course that did not show up, and I can't figure out. It's really interesting. I think whatever the course was on problem solving. I've got a problem I can't solve, so I'll figure that out. But leave it to me to have. The only problem I would have would be with a course on problem solving, and I can't solve the problem, make it show up. So It would only be worse if it had been a problem, if it had been a course on visibility and I couldn't see it. All right, if there's no other questions, we're gonna call it a weekend. How's that? All right, thank you so much for joining me. Don't hesitate to share the webinar with other people. Encourage other people to come in and join us as often as possible. And Olga and Helga have already shared in their group coming for people to come into the webinar. So we'll see where all that goes. All right, y'all have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you next Friday. Okay.